Today is primary election day all across the state of Nevada. I hope if you have not already gone to the polls and you're registered, you will go right now and get out and vote. You'll find on the CD3 ballot the name Danny Tarkanian, and he joins us on our City National Bank guest hotline. Danny, how are you feeling on election day?
Well, I think we're in pretty good shape, but you never know. I've been in sports my entire life. My dad being a basketball coach, there's always upsets. Every time you relax a little bit, something can happen. So we're working very hard to the end. My campaign staff and volunteers were phenomenal this past several days. They made over 20,000 phone calls in just the past 4 or 5 days. We're getting good responses. We feel pretty good, but until the results come out, you never know.
Let me ask you, what did this race fall on? You had 10 candidates in this CD3 race. Was there a key issue, 2 key issues that you heard at town halls or debates or whatever?
No, when you run in a Republican primary, most of the candidates all say the same thing. There are a few of them. There may be a few differences, nuances, but nothing really substantial. The key thing is I supported candidate Trump when nobody else in Southern Nevada in the last election did. They all came out against him after that tape came out, the federal candidates, and I stayed and supported him. And President Trump remember that. He asked me to run in this race, and I believe that the vast majority of Republican primary voters in CD3 want to see somebody who's going to support President Trump in Washington, D.C., and I believe that was the biggest difference for me, as they know that I'll support him even when the going gets tough.
I know I stayed up late to see the agreement signed in Singapore. Your thoughts? I was so damn proud of our president and of the historic moment that occurred last night in Singapore. Can you talk a little bit about your thoughts on what was accomplished, what's still left to be done relative to North Korea?
Well, I think a lot's been done already in that we reached a tentative agreement where they can move forward and try to get something permanent in place that will have historic proportions. I don't think we can get so overwhelmed that something can happen and then all of a sudden President Trump gets blamed that it fell apart. Any type of negotiations, you got to be playing from a position of strength that can't be have any vulnerability. So I don't want to get to the point where we start popping the champagne yet, but it certainly looks like there's a chance of accomplishing something historic. Just the fact President Trump has gotten this far, I think, says a world of his negotiation skills. I think it also says a world of what the liberal left media says about President Trump. If you read the articles today, many of them are saying, there was no agreement made, or, there's nothing substantive that was done. They just find a negative every time there's a real positive thing out there. And it's disappointing for our country. It's disappointing for what's best for the people of America. And, it's time to get behind our president and hope that he does well, because that's the way our country was built upon. Is we fight during elections. We have somebody candidates who get elected, and then we support those candidates and hope they do a great job for us, irrespective of what side they were on.
Danny, I have a core belief that I think people are tuning out the lamestream media and all of these negative articles and all these negative pundits and talking heads on TV, and that they don't really care. They look at a president that's getting stuff done domestically, foreign policy wise. You've spent the last 4 or 5 months out talking to people in CD3 and really across the state when you were running for the Senate. Is that what you're finding, that people just are kind of tuning it out?
Well, it depends who you're talking to. We're in a very polarized society. You're not going to get a certain segment of people that just hate Trump no matter what he does. And then there's a certain percent that just loves President Trump and are going to support him over anything. It's the people in between that are going to make the difference. And I believe that there's enough of them out there that will swing the votes over to people that support President Trump's America First agenda in the elections. They really want what's best for our country. They're not hoping that, like how about Bill Maher, or however you pronounce
Bill
Mayer.
Maher? Bill Maher, yeah.
Yeah, Maher. Yeah, he says that he hopes the country goes into recession so that President Trump will fail. I mean, what kind of ridiculous, irresponsible statement is that from somebody? If you really love their country, you wouldn't be feeling that way. There are a lot of people, myself included, that did not like what President Obama was doing. We sat there, bitter tongues, supported what we were hoped was the best interest of our country, and we certainly didn't hope that the country failed. And now you see the complete opposite with so many people with President Trump.
When you talk to people, are there issues that resonate with voters? And I mean outside of whether you're pro-Trump, anti-Trump, but are there education issues or things that come up when you've been talking with voters?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the vast majority of Americans want to have a solution to our immigration problem. They want our borders secured. They want to get rid of the visa lottery and the chain migration. They want e-verification for employers, and they want to find a resolution to the DACA problem. The vast majority of Americans want that. The vast majority of Americans do not want sanctuary cities. So only the far left, and it's somebody that's just plain partisan politics would support the sanctuary city position. And most of the people that I talk with in Southern Nevada understand that we have a real problem with our education system, and we need to get school choice implemented so that there is some competition within the school district so we can improve the education for our young children.
Danny, you going to be working right down to 7 o'clock or whatever?
Well, yes, we are. My campaign and I, we're all going to be out doing as much as we can. It's sort of like a basketball game, though. You do all your training and everything before the game day, and the training usually will pay off on the day of the game. And then same with the elections. You do most of your hard work before the election date. There's only so much you can do on the day of the election.
Danny, best of luck, and we'll talk with you soon. I promise.
Well, thank you. Look forward to it, Kevin.
Thank you. That's Danny Tarkanian running in CD3.